Hey there, guys. How you doing? This is Ice9. We're going to do a little bit of gameplay today. We're going to take three head-to-heads. I've played all three of these guys before. These are guys trying to climb the leaderboard. I'm really not. I'm not doing anything but play guys back, and I get the same matchups over and over again. One thing I wish I did have this year because I work full time and have a life and stuff, is that I could pick the number of open head to heads that I could have at any given time. With the system this year, uh, last year was a little bit lame in some ways. In other words, last year, if somebody scored on you first drive, you could simply decline the game and not lose any fans. That was kind of a lame way of doing it. People who score and initiate head to heads should be rewarded for that. So in this case, you lose the fans one where you can't just decline a game if somebody starts a game and you score. That said, I don't have the time to really, work on getting in the top 100 or anything like that. I think I'm probably capable if I wanted to, not to sound all full of myself, but if I wanted to, I could probably get reasonably close to that, but I just don't have really the amount of time to do that. If I had that kind of time, I might be working the auction house and looking to get coins and things like that. And, in any case, let's play some head to head back here. And Mephisto Phillies, he plays me a lot, usually beats me. Steelers 3-4. And I'm gonna switch. Did I already? Yeah, he ran strong PA tight end corner. I might have already looked at this and just changed the game plan up against him, taking away the big three of the play action passing plays. This guy you got to mix it up. He usually adapts and scores anyways. And actually, I forget what kind of defense that he runs. It might be soft counters. We'll kind of see. But for his next set of drives, he'll have a hard counter unit covering the big three um, for the play action plays, as I call them, PAFL middle and PA strong tight end corner, and then cross. So let's go here. Let's see what we got. And you got to get that early enough. Could not have been any later with that pass, especially against a 3-4. And I got to get that one kind of early. That was a little bit too early, though. Normal drives, guys. Spread FL drag. Really got to try to get that first down. Don't get it. Don't get across the line there. Yeah, it looks like a counter. It is not a counter. All right. A little running against the 3-4. Try to mix it in. And then just busted through that block. Like I always say, welcome to Hall of Fame. We busted up that block. That is ill-advised. Frequency counter. And what am I going to do here? I'm going to try a little FB flare. Uncountered look. Wanted a little more arc on that. Definitely wanted a little more arc. And that is the 3-4. Crowding the short passing. And on this, you would think some of these underneath plays and yards after the catch, but that usually doesn't get it up done against Hall of Fame. They will swarm it. And we're going to try something a little bit different here. I'm going to flip smash and try to go to that slot. Put a nice arky throw. And there we go. And that one, there you go. And this is, one thing about me, guys, whether you like my videos or don't care for them or etc. I'll be experimenting on the videos, especially now. Um, I'm sure a lot of you guys saw my last video where I've pretty well set of quitting at the end of the year. And so I'm not going to just up and leave on my league right in the middle of the year. And I'm going to try to enjoy this game while I can. It's really kind of sad in a way, and we'll talk about it a little bit more. But right now, I'm going to try to be useful and do and play. And we're going to go to Jones singled up, and we're going to take that point after. But it is kind of sad because I love this game, guys. I've really enjoyed my time with Madden Mobile. It is just the changes that EA has made. There's a grind. There people get burned out of games. I mean, that happens. I don't get burned out as quickly as other people on video games, though, that's for sure. But some of the things that EA has done, and I have to be very careful because I do want to always be helpful on my channel. I don't want this to be a big, huge rant fest. Uh, just a big, huge rant about, the things that EA is doing is wrong. There are plenty things that are good with this game. I can understand for people, for example, who haven't played all 3 years of the game and haven't seen how it's changed. I could see how they'd be like, okay, fine, this is cool. Some people are going to be really happy getting to a 90 overall, building in this game, or a 95 overall, or a 100 overall. I remember the first year when I made it to 100 and how happy I was. Now that seems to be expected. So I know that that's part of it. It's just this year versus last year, especially. There are huge differences in the promos, how the promos have worked, the rewards of the promos, promo players, and how easy the promos are to do, how many coins that you can make in the game off the promos, non-auctionable items versus auctionable items, how easy sets are to do, set odds, pack odds. Everything is harder in this game this year, as well as the gameplay. And the gameplay I actually enjoy, even though I got a fumble 6 against me today in League to League, and I only put up 7 points, but that's the way it goes. I ran into a bunch of soft counters with the ultimate free setup. I played against the lowest percentages that I could, which was short passing, my normal game, and just got caught. It happens. That doesn't upset me that it's more difficult because it's an even playing field for everyone. What is not an even playing field is the economy. Okay, so I am going to talk a little bit more about that, but I'm going to try to do some gameplay because I know a lot of people do like that. So let's play another one against Banshee Farm. I play him a ton too. And let's see what's going on with him here. PAFL middle bunch dive. He is mixing it up enough that I want to keep the softies in there against him. I mean, that's a bunch of different kinds of plays. You cannot cover all the different kinds of plays that he is putting on. Wow, he's using Thanksgiving more. Let's look at his squad, actually. Yeah, more wide receiver one. And you would think, looking at this, that this is a defensive booster setup. But no, he threw to Moore. Wow, I mean, this might be a booster right here. I'll look at his running back again, and then he's got League, DeMarco in there, no speed booster. Yeah, this might be just a straight up and down setup for him, though. Let's see who is running the halfback, and then Big Ben at quarterback. Interesting. Yeah, it's a pretty high overall to be getting with some of those players on that team. So let's see his running again. See if D'Angelo Williams is doing his running. Yes, it is. Interesting. So a lot of old high booster type program players from earlier in the year. Thanksgiving Herman Moore, who's still on my bench. Uh actually that's one, I will say for those who didn't play last year and who are brand new to the game, and and who did play Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was a set that was very easy to do at that time. Well, it depends on how many coins you have, always, right? But it was easier to do than a lot of the promo sets like Combine, All Pro with that really elusive uh, quarterback collectible, and some of the other things, where they make it real tempting with unlimited packs for the promo to just do that because grinding through using stamina refills has not been as effective as it has been in years past. We're going to talk about that. But Thanksgiving earlier was actually uh, that was a promo that was easier to do. Really good master player, obviously, that this guy is still using, and it was more similar to a lot of the promos last year. So there's a good example of that. All right, so let's see what we can do against Banshee Farm here. How does this guy, though? He's got a lot of boosters. Let's see who he's got on defense. I like looking at this squad. It's interesting. He's got your typical all pro Zach Martin, which isn't going for squat, which is a shame, but that is supply and demand, guys. There's just not as many new players coming into this game right now. It's obvious because if they would, I think Martin now is going for 500,000 coins in auction house for. We'll actually take a look at that. That's a shame. That might be the best guard we get all year. Definitely the fastest offensive guard I've ever seen. So it is strictly, it's not based on how good he is. It's how many of them are out there and how many people are still playing this game. So that is what that's all about. So all the league players here, I'm just wondering, how is this a 102? All right, so he's got Vernon, signature. I just like this team. Then he's got Domination, Von Miller, and Beasley. He's got Slay, who got a pick six on me yesterday. That is a good card indeed. Went up and got one on PAF all middle against Gronk. Made a fantastic play. Bunch of Ultimate Legend set players on the squad. I probably have more boosters than he does. A good indication of that is my Rhodes is 99 and his is 98. No League Sherman on the team. So here's some of the, and he's actually got Blount as his nickel. So, a lot of people thinking well of Slay. They're putting Slay at corner one and two. I've seen a couple guys put him at corner one. That was actually how Slay got me yesterday. And Peters in the nickel. So people are thinking a lot of that Slay card, even though it's a lower overall. Still don't think I'm going to do that one. But pretty cool. So this is a cool team. And then he's got a stronger player really at safety than I do because I'm just kind of waiting, for something a little bit better, like a set Ultimate Legend that's a 99, maybe another one, or the other positional hero safety. I'm waiting to do upgrades, which is I'm waiting a lot more than I did last year. Well, last year I upgraded about twice as much. But the state of the economy at this time of year was such that I could do that kind of thing. And I also posted something on Mudhead, um, which you guys can catch, thanking the guys at Mudhead, in case I do depart the game at the end of the year. But I really appreciated Mudhead and all the great information on there. So I just kind of posted something, my thoughts, and I'll reiterate it, but at some point I'm just going to be leaving it alone. It doesn't make sense to rant about this game every time. I will enjoy the game while I'm still playing it, and we'll see. So he just catches softies. But yeah, we're gonna keep softies in there. But at some point, I'm not gonna keep on fighting City Hall. I'm gonna get my opinion out there. I have a YouTube channel. Even if not a bunch of people subscribe to it or a bunch of people watch this video, that's okay. I'm going to get my opinion out there because I care about this game and I think that EA could do better. And I think that they've made a mistake this year and at a crucial time of the year too. And Easter promo is going to come out at some point. If it was a really big promo with really big long sets, I would assume that would have dropped Sunday or Monday. So I don't know what it's going to be this year or when it's going to come out, or if it's going to be something like year one was just Easter eggs and you would try to get elite Easter eggs. And some of those elite Easter eggs ended up being 99 players year one. Last year was a little bit different where you had sets and then the better players. It was kind of like a this year promo for Easter where they had set players, like, for example, an NTL card with no boost, where the Blitz version was the same stats almost and had a +2 strength boost. So Easter in some ways was lame, in some ways was really good. You could get a lot from the live event because you would get, you would do the live event and then get your reward for it, and you would have like, three, four, five, seven bronze items, or maybe a couple silver items in there. They just dumped bronze and silver items into the game. And, for whatever it is, I forget if it was three, four, or five stamina per. I mean, that's worth it. Just keep doing it over and over again. You would get elite players in there too, for the sets. But the set players were not very good. And then they had the pull only players with the boost, and they were 98 and maybe 99s, maybe just 98s. I seem to remember them being 98s and 99s with +2 boost were kind of the pack only players, which again was unfortunate. But the difference there, I'm not sure if the pullouts were really better because I didn't really pull a 99 last year either, but there was enough other things going on in the game at that time to make coins off of. So let's stop yakking and start playing. Let's play Banshee Farm here and see how we do. I forgot what he runs as well in terms of what kind of counter setup. It's like you gotta start taking notes or whatever because these guys just play me so much. They're trying to get their fans up there, so they just keep playing anyone that they can. All right, let's see how we do. Kind of counters. Freezy. And nope, it was not. It was just Freezy for no good reason a little bit. Ooh, he stayed at home. Roll out. And that linebacker froze in the zone, and he was in a bad place in the zone to complete that pass to the fullback. And so I looked the other way and go to the tight end, which is option 2. My evolution of how to play that is evolved. That was dangerous as hell. You got to improve that angle a little bit better. And let's go double slants. Almost field goal range. Definitely field goal range. We're going to try to get the first down, though. First drive is good player. Mix in a run. Hopefully I catch a low or a medium severity because you could really get far to the outside. And successful juke. And let's see what I've run for throwing the whole short pass play book. This is Ice 9 football, right? And that is one of the things, having a channel. Somebody watches your channel, boy, they know how to play me, huh? All right, so we get first round, and we're going to be careful. And hopefully this guy, Beasley, leaves. He does. He blitzes, and we get a touchdown. My bailout play. And if you take it away, you're taking away another counter because it is only a bronze. It is not available in a gold double card. Spread FL drag. All right, so successful drive. And Yo Soy Fiesta, and I've played him before too. Whoa! 106 defense. Look at that. All right, so Boss Vic, here you go. This guy has it a little bit more than me, huh? He's got Moss on this team, running him at the slot where he could run roughshod with him. Boy, that Moss in the slot against the safety sounds like a bad matchup against a Dawkins or Weddle. Imagine against Weddle, with that height and speed. He's got some strength boosters in there, so yep, once again, case of the haves and the have-nots. Interesting squad, though. I mean, look at this. He might be just doing this based on offense, but all these boss legends and just a weird setup. What is going on with this team? This is just boosters for offense, I suppose. Is what he's got going on. Okay, and then he's got his boss players in there too. Okay, I see what's kind of going on. So this is a guy who, man, oh man. But see, when I look at the squad on there, who's going to play? Because it says a 106 defense overall. I know for a fact that's not a 106 based on all those boosters on defense. So I guess I'm going to find out who I'm playing, though. But man, he's got everybody, doesn't he? But that's the whole thing about it, I mean, you got to take what you can get. We can't all have top teams, right? But my point in my last video is, those second tier players, those players that are just a little bit worse than like a boss Randy Moss, they don't exist. There's just this big gap. You either have the coins and you have those types of players and you don't. And, guys, I mean, I hate to even sound like this, but uh I'm in some chats, I rub shoulders with a few people where they don't have to worry about it. Whatever EA does, if they do some nonsense pack only low odds type of thing, they find ways to get the coins and buy these players and they get whatever they want. My issue is not only that I can't afford players like that. My issue is people like Gak who play this game, who've been absolutely loyal to my league, who never miss drives, who grinds hard at this game, and the best he could do now is season stars. To me, that's a shame. People like Gak and Ative and Poperator and people like that in my league, they deserve better players. They deserve second and third tier players that are just a little bit worse than these overpowered boss players. That's kind of my point. That's what makes me mad, And in my opinion, the business model, EA would make more money if they did something like that. All right, all right, we get no catch. Strong IFB middle. Ooh. Sometimes you just got to stay in the pocket and move slightly left when that strong side defensive end is really coming like that. Just don't roll right to improve the angle like I do sometimes. You stay in the pocket and you try to get a throwing angle across the field to the fullback. You make that decision based on what that end does. All right, get a catch. And a field goal would be great here. And I've been yakking so much, playing my normal game. Pitch is fairly strong. Yeah, short passing. He's playing into the lower percentages if this is the 106 that's out here, not the boosters. I'm going to catch a lot of criticals with that. That is +4 overall for my offense. So, gots to be careful about what play selections that I run because if I catch I'm going to catch criticals. I can almost guarantee that. Going to catch more and more criticals. Okay. Strong eye spacing. Outlet. Boy, he was coming. Almost within field goal range. Flip it one more time. Should not have rolled into that. Should not have rolled into that. And now I just want yards. Really do. Want yards. That is enough. All I want to do is lock him out. Didn't make that by much. Just didn't get the power on it for some reason. I wish I could go back in the film. That might have been longer than I thought it was. I barely cleared with that one, but all right, so there's 3 drives. So, I'm not going to do too much more ranting. I'm going to try to be careful about that, guys. And while I'm doing videos, I'm going to try to do useful stuff like gameplay and covering promos, positional heroes weekly. I've loved doing videos. I like to help people and things of that nature. But you guys have heard me go over and over again. What I think is wrong, and I've been thinking more about this. Okay. And in my post in doing Mudhead, organizing my thoughts in a way, uh, it seems to me it kind of a pattern or an explanation is formed in my mind for what has happened this year with Madden Mobile since the Super Bowl, which it was a pretty normal and actually Super Bowl promo, All Pro, Pro Bowl were all great promos. They were fantastic promos for sure. It is has what has happened since then with Combine, and then this month of dead and lesser promos and these non-set overpowered players that EA has come out with. The big difference between this year and last year and every year after the Super Bowl, this game gets tougher as players leave the game, more casual players, that buy lots of items and, that stirs up the economy. And it's not just a top only economy. This right now is a top only economy. And when I mean top, I mean top. I was just looking at Romo, seeing what he was going for. Just not enough of an upgrade over Favre, even though the better boost doesn't have that 96 plus throw power and the speed is in the high 70s. But let's look at this Zach Martin card. And we're going to talk about supply and demand in the marketplace. I myself, in the height of the inflationary period with coins, picked up a couple of Martins at 1.8, 1.9 million coins. Huge ouch, right? Well, it's definitely an ouch. There's no doubt about that. And, I saw a post on Mudhead today where people were, what did you guys do with your Zach Martins that you invested in? Could have never foreseen how bad the economy would get. And this, guys, is as bad as I've seen. You have a 99 Ogard legacy worthy player that is sitting everywhere. Okay. At just over 500,000 coins. Let's see if we could pick them up for 550. And this, like the Marcus Peters All Pro card, nope, just looks like a little bit more. Like the Marcus Peters card, these these are some of the best values that I have seen in this game. It's ridiculous. This is a positional hero price. Here, let's look at something else. Let's look at 98 O-guards. 98 only and see what they're going for. We'll get the positional hero. Look at this. Zeitler is going for more than Martin. Now, how can that be? How possibly can that be the case? I own one, unfortunately. I can't wait to replace him. I mean, just the stats are just not overwhelming. Yeah, the run block is good, but he can't run, right? If you got a run blocker with that good of run stats, all right, and the impact block isn't bad, that's great. Going along with this, if you're looking for a pulling guard, you need this and you need that. Need a little bit of this too. This and this are usually strong on positional heroes. That's usually not a problem. That is, suspect. If this was 96, this would actually be a decent player because, a slower guard that's a better pass blocker, that seems to make a little bit of sense. But a slower run blocker on the pull, what he's going to do is he's not going to get his block into his blocks and he's going to get in the way of the halfback, depending on the play. So, that's why I put him left side because most running plays go right. Okay, outside running plays, toss and things like that. Pitch, it doesn't. Um, and counter doesn't, but I hardly ever run counter because counter gets blown up naturally a lot of times. So it's just, I don't mess around with a lot of those kind of off running plays. It doesn't really matter. All right, but look at this though. I mean, so we got a boss Will Shields out there going for this, and if somebody was a huge Will Shields fan or wants an upgrade, there you go. There's only one out there. And the positional hero Zeitler is more than the Martin card. It's all about supply and demand. And that was the thing with the All Pro sets. Those sets, in one way, you could say they're awesome. It gave us two awesome players, Peters and Martin. But there were so many of them made, you couldn't sell a lot of the players that went into the sets. They did this kind of non-auctionable thing. The sets were sometimes then auctionable, then non-auctionable, then auctionable type of thing. They played around with that set back and forth and back and forth, so uh, it made it a tough thing to make money off of the lesser players as part of it. To compare it, all pro to all rookie last year, which they were very similar, where they had the 10 positions and the quarterback was the rarest, even though the quarterback poll seems to me was a little more common in all rookie last year than it was this year. It was probably maybe a third, or I'd say it's maybe even twice as good a pull, the quarterback, the chances of a pull of a quarterback card, which was the rarest last year. I might be wrong about that, but I know for a fact it was an easier pull than this year. Live event pulls are not as good this year, but so this is a top down economy. The Martin card isn't even bringing all the coins. High end market. Everybody has Martin. That's why there's a million of them going at the auction house. And that's why they're not even selling at 550K because everybody has that card, or at least enough people have that card that supply definitely exceeds demand. You have not many new players coming into this game right now that could drive the price of that Martin card. And think about all the effort it did to do that card. It's absolutely painful, you know, uh, to get more coins for that card. It's not driving even a card that good up. Well, if that's the case, this is just simple economics. If you can't push that card up, how are you going to push any of these sets up? Season stars and fan favorites, which is right now. I mean, what is this? 500 cards, training weights to do a 95 player that you're not going to get anything for? This is behind the times. This is ludicrous, is what this is. I mean, there's no other answer, it seems to me, but save up training weights right now and just do the live event as you can catch it. In the hopes that EA improves the overalls of some of these players, because otherwise you can't sell them for coins. Not worth the effort with 500 training weights on the top players. Simply not worth it. And then throwbacks, and I talked about this in my post, you know, one big thing, one big olive branch that EA could throw out to the 99 percenters, which I don't know if I'm included in the 99 percenters because I got CJ2K, but I'm pretty close. I'm not ballers like some people that I know who can get coins if they need them and buy whoever they want through whatever means. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But I know players who are doing some things to still get any player they want, even with the coin sites not being what they were, you know. But anyways, though, biggest thing to counter that would be a +2 speed throwback. We need it like yesterday. We need that. Or, as I mentioned, a speed boosted player in Easter would also be a huge thing. Now, it may seem like I'm obsessed with speed boosters, but it's hard not to focus on it when there are three of them dropped in 2 months and they're pack only rare things that only a very, very few number of people can afford to get. And it is aggravating. You got to balance the game out, EA. You have to balance it out. You should be looking to balance it out because the thing that it seems to me, and it's got me scratching my head, and this is no cupcake set to do, by the way. These are tough to get, especially that darn helmet. But a +2 throwback to give teams some speed boost to kind of get them, you know, make them a little more current. This would mix up the economy. You could only do these sets once, and it would give people a player where they don't have to sacrifice their fullback and keep putting Gurley in there, let alone Robinson, which I still don't know anybody with Robinson, right? The unicorn card. But, having a card with a speed boost and throwbacks would go a long way towards equalizing things a little bit. It's a big boost, it'll boost up overall, and it definitely affects gameplay. And that's why I talk about it so much, and that's why a lot of people talk about it so much. Um, Speed boosts are important, and people who are playing the game at this point, here's the big difference between last year and this year, and I've mentioned this before, but it's really become clear. This time last year, we had all rookie running, auctionable players, 96 Jameis Winston. Remember, I got him as one of the pulls from the live event. First thing, I was one of the first guys that had him, got 700,000 coins for that player. Was able to keep on doing players, and I had Dawkins day one and coins off the live event with a lot of stamina refills, of course. But if I'm spending money on stamina refills, I should be making coins. This year, it's not the case. This year, EA's like, we appreciate that you're giving us money for stamina refills, but that's not enough money for us, is what they've said with a lot of these events. We want more money. We're going to make these sets harder to do. We're going to have non auctionable items. We're going to have very fixed rewards where you can't get a chance of something better, even if it's 1 in 50, 1 in 100 of getting an elite item for one of these promos. We're not going to give you that chance. You are going to have to go through all the steps to do these sets. You're going to have to do them the way we want you to do them. And hopefully, we want you to buy packs with your coins so we drain your coins down and then you have to give us real money. That's ideally that's been what's been happening more and more. Top down economy. We need a +2 speed booster. We get +2 throw power. That is useful. And not that we haven't had a better version of this card, let alone, 98, 99 quarterbacks with boosts that boost up the whole team. What is this card? Why? Why possibly bring that out? Doesn't make any sense. Flashbacks. One of the best promos from last year. This time I had 99 Andre Johnson. Actually, that was early March when I got that player with +1 catch and great stats. And there he is on the Legacy team. You guys have seen him before, but just in case you haven't, there he is. 2 speed boosters up. I think it was 96 base speed is what I thought it was. Extremely strong. Could really catch it in traffic. High jump. Great card. This is a great card right here. And that's what we had last year as part of the flashbacks. And this year we got the throwbacks, and it is mediocre, and the boosts don't make sense. Top only economy. But how are you going to get the coins from any of these sets to afford these pack only players? You know, to upgrade your teams, you got positional heroes. This has been pretty good this year, actually. Positional heroes has been pretty good as a whole. There's some weak players in there. Daniels and Zeitler were not great. But Olsen, Frederick, Beasley in a 3-4. Slay better than his 98 overall. Just probably not legacy worthy, but definitely gameplay. Slay is a great card from what I've seen. Nelson, haven't seen him yet on any team that I play. Weddle, got its problems. Heard he's great in the zone, as I expected, that when he plays underneath something and you're trying to bullet the pass, he's going to be dangerous. That's going to be a dangerous card for that. But in terms of going over the top of him, HB option, I dig. God forbid somebody puts him at strong against Gronk or Olsen, you're going to be able to just go over the top of them. And I've heard that is exactly the case with that card. But otherwise, though, I'd say positional heroes are pretty good. As a whole, I would say they're good. Unsung heroes, this is another kind of cash grab, is really what it is. For people who weren't able to get the pack unit, this is probably slightly better. And you got to do this for weeks and weeks and weeks. What is it, 15 of them? So you got to get 2 months. You've got to get every player every week and do the live event and buy the players. They are in packs pretty frequently. You could go back in and do them after the fact. I suppose that's a good thing, but this is really a coin drainer. To a certain extent, if you get the players, you're probably better off selling the players. At least you can do that with unsung heroes. But really, this 96 players are not going to mix it up too much. You know, they're just not. Campus heroes could be better. And here, oh, actually, I think we have a change. I think we have a change. Let's look in the vault. Nope, they're not in the vault. Is it under players? Yeah, Campus Heroes is under players. With this one, this is what I'd recommend with Campus Heroes. Get the players, the elites, keep on doing those. And that darn Clemson collectible, right? Which is absolutely a pain, rare pull for that. And just keep getting them, and then just like, I'm a third of the way there. I haven't worked on it all that hard, but when they come out with a better player, just be ready to do them. It hasn't made it into the vault yet. Specialists, here's what I would recommend with specialists, guys. I'm sticking players in the set. It's somewhere to put them, but the kickers and punters off of this can be used in positional heroes. I'm pretty sure. And that might be a good thing, good way to use the punters and kickers out of the set. I'm sorry to say, but they're going to be better players than the specialist players. So that's what I would say about that. You know, top down economy, guys who can get coins from one way or another necessary and get any player that they want. I see it and they're able to get players, and then when another top pull only player comes out, they could get them, and they're just able to get them. EA, I wonder how much money they're making off of them. I really do, because one thing I will say is they could be making more money on me, and off of those second tier, third tier players, really good promo players. And that's the thing that has been the turnoff, is these weekly promos, and how they're just not worthwhile to make coins off of, and they're not worthwhile for most people's teams, or for a lot of people's teams that are still playing. You know, people have really good teams. 99 Zach Martin's not selling. They've already got him. That's the reason why. Now we need other players to go with it. Need new promos with good players, with sets that are achievable through live events. That's what this game needs right now. So Easter didn't drop when a lot of people thought it would, which would have been Sunday, giving people a week. Not sure what it's going to bring for us. I'll be curious to see how EA handles it. Really going to be curious. Because it's kind of tough to upgrade from some of these players, from All Pro, from Pro Bowl with double boosted 98s, from Super Bowl with double boosted 99s. Those not necessarily great gameplay players, though. They could do better gameplay players, like that Boss Moss card, or maybe just a little bit under it. It doesn't have to be Boss Randy Moss. It has to have a good boost and comparable gameplay to that. Be somewhat close to that card in some ways, and achievable for people to do. That would drive the economy in terms of coins. That would make more people spend money, such as myself. I'd spend money on it, and we'll see if we get it. You know, if there's good stuff, I mean, I'll spend money, for that. But I mean, here's what I'll say: at the end of the year, I'll make a decision. But right now, it looks like I'm going to be leaving the game. I don't want this to be some kind of soap opera odyssey. But I do have to make a decision, and a consumer has to vote with his pocketbook, with their pocketbook. That is the most power that you can have. So if you disagree with something enough, that is what you have to do. And the reason I'm still posting videos, I still love this game, guys. Would love to stay around and play this game. Like this game more than I should, maybe. But EA's got to do the right thing by its customers. Last year, they were rewarding us with Gold Medal Master, Silver Medal Master, easier to do Gauntlet, good flashbacks that I just showed you. Um, all rookie. They had so many things going on, giving us really good players, better game changers. They kept that updated. Really good game changers. 96 DRC. There's another one on the Legacy team. Came out, I believe, also in February or March. And there you go. The speed booster for the masses, which the masses need. A better overall card that's going to be decent gameplay, better than the old girly card that a lot of people have to run to try to get a little bit more speed on their team. A card like this. They just, whatever. We're not going to update game changers. It's just, I don't understand it. Last year they were trying to reward people who hung around and played the game. This year they're trying to beat on them. That's really my message. That is my message, and that's what is so frustrating about it when you've played this game previous years. Year one was also frustrating because they didn't have as many promos. last year, content designers knew what they were doing. And this game, guys, this, as we know, is a video game. This is what does it cost to come out with new cards and upgrade promos? You don't even have to, I'm in sales. You don't have to market it and spend money on that. It's already in the game. You don't even have to market the game that much at this point. So many people play or so many people play other EA sports games that they just naturally come over. You got to pay the NFL players in the association for the rights to their likeness. Then from there, how difficult and how much time and how much money does it cost to design a player and put him out there and then make money off of them because you've given people good players that are achievable and not just discourage them with low odds, pack only, overpowered players that only very, very few people are going to afford. And that is my major thing. And I'm sorry to beat the dead horse, but I'm going to be full of platitudes. There's a couple sayings that come to mind. I really get bothered when people say that I say it like it is. I hate that because that's not true at all. That's that person's perspective. But I will tell you about what I do with my videos, and that is I call it as I see it. You can disagree in my comments. We can have a discussion. I would like that. But I call it as I see it. I don't say it like it is. I call it like I see it. Another phrase that comes to mind when talking about EA and recently with this game is pigs get fat and hogs get slaughtered. And I'm in sales, trying to sell things, trying to make money on what I'm selling. And I'm well aware of profit, but I'm well aware of this thing that, if you try to take advantage of people too much, you're going to burn the bridge. You're going to lose their business in the future. And that's what this is all about. And that's what I mean by voting with your pocketbook. So thanks a lot, guys. Sorry for the preaching, but I will do more videos with gameplay and covering promos.